Hello, welcome. If you're watching this, I probably miss you very much, and am thinking of you, and I'm wishing you peace and solace in this time. I'm also wishing you immense joy and capacity for healing for yourself. One of my favorite ways to find joy and healing for myself is through my yin practice, which surprisingly I have not done very much while I'm here. So I got a couple requests for yin because it's the best ever, and you can do it anytime, anywhere, basically, besides if you're driving. You can take 3 minutes to practice your yin practice. You can do it on your bed, in front of the TV, whatever. So let's do a little yin. I'll lead you through, and I don't think I'm gonna play music, just because I think the natural sounds here are really nice. But feel free to put some music on for yourself if you'd like, because it will be a lot of quiet. I'll usually set you into a pose, and then we will just kind of sit there for a while. So if you use props or you have props at home, get maybe a bolster or a pillow, a blanket or a rug, and a block if you want. But I'm going to try to lead with no props because I know that we don't all have access to them. Pillows and blankets are nice. Most people have access to those. Okay, so before I begin, I just was reading today and this quote that came from this book just really jumped out at me. It's by Stuart Wilde. It's called The Infinite Self, and the guy who owns this place lent it to me. 33 Steps to Reclaiming Your Inner Power. So far, they're all on point. So if you're looking for a book to read right now, this is a good one. But in one of the steps, a quote that I pulled from there right away, he says, unrelated, this was written a long time ago, unrelated to what's happening now, but what's happening now is always happening. He says, the world is changing fast. What works today often fails tomorrow. Inner knowing is the best way of keeping one step ahead of a fast developing world and changing circumstances. So he's kind of referring to using your inner knowing as your navigation, kind of getting out of your intellectual mind a little bit. Of course, you want your decisions to be wise, but using that inner knowing, that voice within, to help you create your path rather than the voices outside. So as we practice, as when we're quiet, let's just really tap into that space of inner knowing, that space in the heart, and that space in the third eye, and just allow whatever's coming up to come up. Whatever you hear, even if it doesn't make sense or it doesn't feel reasonable, just observe it and be with it for a little while. Sit with it. Yeah. Let's see what that brings up. Keep in mind that yin is the practice of the hips, of the svadhisthana, your emotional place, your space of change and fluidity. So if your hips feel tight or if this feels stressful, please be really patient with yourself. Use props as you need so that it's not a hard practice. It's a gentle kind of coaxing into openness. It's not a push or a force. And it's definitely not a commentary on how tight your hips are. They just are what they are. Love them, regardless. All right, so let's get started. Let's lay down on our backs. Let's keep the soles of the feet down with the knees pointing up. And you can always change what you do. Yin is awesome. I love it because it's kind of rebellious. It doesn't really, you don't have to have alignment because you're being so gentle, and you're working on your connective tissues rather than your muscles. So if your alignment looks totally different than mine, that's probably good or best, actually. What is that? So just allow your alignment to be whatever it needs to be. And I like the feeling of knocking my knees together and letting my feet kind of come out a little bit. It releases the low back for some. You could also kind of pick up your butt and let your tailbone rock down. Let your palms face up as you gaze up. Maybe eventually closing the eyes. And just falling into this space of quiet. Come to your breath. Yin doesn't have a specific breath pattern like Ujjayi or anything, but I find in these times of chaos, if you feel stressed or busy, you might start to breathe a little deeper. You can even count the breath if you'd like. That sometimes helps me to stop or slow the spinning mind. And if anything is uncomfortable in the body, just make sure you adjust so that you feel more settled. And then allow an intention for this rest and relaxation to come to you. We're going to make this somewhat yin, somewhat restorative. A little bit of both. Good. As you're ready, bring one hand to your belly and one hand to your heart. Feel breath moving in and out. Feel intention in your heart. Hear that inner voice. And just make some space to listen to it. As you're ready, wiggle your feet together. And let your knees point straight up. Maybe keeping your hand on your belly, your hand on your heart. Just take a big breath in. And sigh out. And when you feel settled, move your palms to face down alongside your waist. We're going to take little pelvic rocks to begin to open up the low back. On your next inhale, fill up your belly and let your tailbone reach towards the mat. Let the low back lift. And on your exhale, pull your belly toward your spine. Let your tailbone lift. Try not to squeeze your butt, but a little lift to your pelvic floor maybe. And the inhale, belly fills with breath. Tailbone reaches to the floor, low back lifts. Exhale, pull the belly in, let the tailbone lift. Keep your neck long. And one more inhale, belly filling with breath, tail down. Exhale, pull the belly in, tailbone up. Good. Inhale, come back to a neutral spine. And then exhale, hug your right knee into your chest. Let your left leg lengthen down. Go ahead and rock This knee side to side. Maybe trace a circle or two with it. Good. Perhaps you let your knee kind of go out towards your armpit. Notice if that gets the left leg to lift a little bit, that's okay. Hang out here, or if it feels accessible to you, maybe make like a half happy baby, so you get your foot or behind your hamstring. Breathe. And then I always like to kind of trace circles with my heel. And just as a general rule, if you go one direction, you should go the other as well. The more you pull your knee towards the ground, the deeper of a stretch you will feel. Keep that left leg heavy as you can, but it's okay if it lifts. Good. When you're ready, inhale, hug the knee in. And then we're going to exhale and take it over to the left side of the body. If you have a pillow or something to rest on it, or rest it on, do. You can also slide your left knee up if you want to make it a little more gentle. I think I'm good. And then you can reach your right arm out if you'd like to look over it. Or you can rest your hand on your ribs. You don't have to really make this a huge, big twist. The fact that we're going to be holding it a little longer, you want it to feel really supported and not so much efforted. Close your eyes and just fall in. Try to soften and release all of the little pieces of the body that are holding tension. I really encourage you to support this if you've got the means, or make it easier by bringing that left knee up to meet it. You hold every yin posture for at least 2 minutes. 2 minutes is the amount of time it takes for your fascia, your connective tissue, to be modified in any way. So that's why we hold for this amount of time. If you're really comfortable somewhere and I start to move us out of the pose, I'd recommend just pausing the video and holding for another minute. You can always use stopwatch on your phone. That's what I use to see the time, or even your alarm. Try to really get soft and heavy in your body. And then inhale, hug your right knee in when you're ready. Rock it around as you'd like in a circle or two. And then we're going to go ahead and straighten that leg up towards the ceiling. You can hang on to your hamstring. You can hang on to your calf, your big toe. Or you could take a strap or a scarf, and wrap it around the foot and use it kind of as like a strap. I didn't even realize that was going to be a prop. I was just trying to look cool and yogic. So allow your neck to lengthen and breathe full. And you want to try to soften your shoulders down into the mat, whatever you use. So that's why, even though I could get my big toe, see how much my shoulder comes out of the ground? It's better to keep your upper body relaxed within a long neck. Just breathe here. See if you can slow the spinning of the busy thoughts. Use a technique that works for you. You can come to the breath and listen to your breath. You can maybe dwell on a specific intention. So that way, if you are a little busy in the mind, at least it's going towards something productive for you. And don't let it be anything about what's going on right now. Let it be something to let that go of a little bit. We have to give ourselves breaks. We have to give ourselves breaks from the chaos and the helping and the worrying. We have to. Give yourself a little bit of a break. All the stuff will still be waiting, even if you've taken a few moments without it. Good. Take an inhale, let it pull a little closer. And then exhale, release any strap. Hug that knee in, rock it. Bring your left one up to meet it. And rock together, both arms around both legs. Little rocks and rolls. When you're ready, hang on to that left knee. Let the right leg lengthen out. Keep moving that left knee on its own. Little circles, one direction. And then the other. When you're ready, kind of take that knee out towards your armpit a little bit. And hang on to it there. I should have mentioned on the other side, but you can always bring your opposite leg up and plant the foot down if you need a little more stability. That knee is going out to the armpit. When you feel ready, maybe a half happy baby. Ardha, Ananda Balasana, pulling the knee in toward the armpit, the foot toward the sky, drawing a circle one direction, and then the other. And just breathing. You don't want to overstretch. You want to be really gentle so your body's never shocked by what you're doing. Your body's never like, and then pulling back and tensing. It's really relaxed. Good. When you're ready, hug that knee in toward the chest. You're going to take it across the body. And again, remember, if you have like a pillow or something, you could put it under the knee. Sometimes I'll kind of scoot over so it's just less of a big twist and more of like I'm rolling over on my side. That's okay because, again, it's not about the bigness of the pose. You're just trying to let the body move in a little way for enough time so that your fascia, your connective tissue can open. So if that means you want to extend your left arm out, do. But if not, don't. Belly long, gaze maybe over the left shoulder. You could rest those left fingertips on your ribs. Breathe full. Scan the body for tension. Anything that's tight, soften with breath. Even just practice that ability to think about something relaxing and then watch it relax, feel it relax. It's very cool. Think about your left hip relaxing, your low back, your shoulder, your neck, your jaw. in. Rearrange so that you feel nice and comfortable. Maybe rock it and roll it a little bit. And then when you're ready, start to lengthen it up. If you don't have any prop, just get the back of your hamstring. Maybe your calf. Maybe you'll use something to wrap around the arch of your foot. And then, again, like I said, I forgot to mention it on the other side, but you might bring your right foot up. It might feel nice, planting it on the floor. If you're okay, you can extend it. And unlike the yang version of this posture, your right foot can just be relaxed. Let your shoulders relax as much as possible. Inhale. And then exhale, pull that knee in towards the chest. Bring the other one up to meet it, rocking and rolling a little bit side to side. You feel settled, full, happy baby. Pull both of your knees into both your armpits. Get a hold of your feet or maybe behind your hamstrings or your calf. And then you can rock if you'd like, side to side. I like to really press my low back kind of down and see how that changes the sensation. Sometimes pull it up or change. Some also even like to straighten one leg. Be mindful if you do that. And then the other. Back, rocking. Again, holding this posture for a little longer than we normally do. Even a few moments in a posture is good, but especially for those of you who are tight or tense, the longer you can sit still in a pose and breathe, the better. Your muscles in your joints, your ligaments, everything gets a chance to kind of like relax and slow. And that's really helpful for flexibility. That's why yin is so good for flexibility. Inhale. And then exhale, I'm going to have you bring your feet to each other and get a hold of them on the outside. Let your knees open a little bit. And just hang out here. Just feel what this feels like. Keep your shoulders relaxed. As you're ready, you can inhale. And then we'll softly bring the feet down, keeping them connected. Let the knees be open. Now, you can do a couple different things here. If you need or want a bolster under you, you can put it under the spine, under the upper back, under the hips. What's really common is needing something to support the knees. So if you don't have anything, you might just like lengthen your feet out further so it's less of a stretch. Or if you want the inner thigh stretch, get something like a pillow or a bolster or blocks. Really anything can do. Don't get caught up on the word bolster. Not many people just have bolsters lying around their houses. So anything that you can support your knees with. If you can find something that's soft, it's better, because then as your body begins to relax, you can fall into the soft prop. Whereas if you have something hard or firm, your muscles can't really your joints can't really soften anymore into it. So when you're ready, choosing an open heart and maybe closing the eyes, fall into supine butterfly, sleeping butterfly pose. If your low back starts to ache, it's helpful if you can get something to get you up higher, so it's less of a curve in your low back. You do want to be mindful of that space. That could be like a blanket roll or pillows from your couch or whatever. Really come back to your breathing if you're getting distracted. Just keep in mind, if we are connected to everything, if we are everything, then every distraction is just a piece of us. Try not to get frustrated or annoyed. Try instead to allow your meditation to be a way to be connected to everything that's happening. Good. Staying here for a few more breaths if you'd like. This is a great pose to stay in for maybe a couple extra minutes, like 3 minutes or so more. And when you're ready, you can stretch your arms up and overhead. And be very gentle as you use your hands to pull your knees in towards your chest. You might want to stay in that one for a little longer. I'm just shortening it for the purpose of this video. I know if you have a long video to watch, you're less likely to do it than if it's a little shorter. And then from here, just for a moment, roll onto your side. Begin to press yourself up. Oh, it's my friend. Bitzel. Bitzel? Schnitzel. I don't know. She responds to everything. So I'm going to have you take your mat and kind of roll it up. Schnitzel, watch out. Enough so that you can rest your low back on it. You could also just grab another blanket and do the same. And then get on top of it. I'm going to go one more maybe. Yeah. And just rest kind of your sacrum and your low back on it. Okay? From here, palms are up, eyes are closed, and a couple more big breaths with the support of this bolster and with your feet firmly on the mat or ground. as you're ready, only if you're ready, you might lengthen your legs out. You don't have to. It might be too much on the back. Listen to it. Make sure it feels okay, and if it doesn't, go back to where you were. 10. It's my water cup. Good. Now stay like this if you'd like. This next piece only really works or feels good for some people, so maybe you try it and say, whatever, or maybe you like it. Only if your legs are extended. You're going to turn your left foot in a little bit, just a little bit, and kind of bring it towards center, and then you're going to take your right heel and put it just on the top of the foot. And just kind of let it drag in like that. And for some people, this releases the low back. For others, it's not much of a sensation. Bitzel. That foot go and put your feet back down. Take a breath. And then you'll turn your left or your right foot in and put your left heel on top of the foot. The more you kind of bring it to center, the better. Bitzel, come here. See, I don't think that's her name. Schnitzel. Or she's just a cat. Cats don't listen to anything. Try to let your body relax a little more. Relax again. Take another big breath. And then begin to slide those feet up if they were extended. And just for a couple breaths, pull your knees in towards your chest. I kind of rocked a little bit so that I could get right on that blanket roll or whatever and reach the feet up toward the ceiling or the sky, whatever you've got with you. And just stay in this posture for a couple good breaths. Feel like it would feel good, there's the option to bring your hands kind of towards your butt and let your legs go up and over just a little bit, not like full plow, so that you're kind of resting your butt in your hands, and you can bend your knees here and just let it be a little more relaxed. This is called seaweed in yin, I think, because you're supposed to like Do this with your legs, which I always make fun of, and then when I show it, I really love it, actually, so I'm going to do it. But you don't want to get your hips over your shoulders. You don't need them to, unless that would feel good. And when you're ready, slowly catching yourself, take your time. Get rid of that mat or that blanket roll, and let your feet come back down to the mat, extending them out. Letting your palms face up and your feet fall open, closing your eyes. Take a huge breath. And another. One more. Relax. Take in the sounds. See them as a part of the present moment. Feel yourself in the present moment. Listen to that inner voice, that inner self that will guide you amongst a changing and ever chaotic world. That voice will not guide you astray if you listen to it. So give it a chance to speak. As you're ready, softly begin to wiggle fingers and toes. Reach your arms and get a stretch. As you're ready, gently roll onto your side. That was Bitzel. She's above me. And then begin to press yourself up to a comfortable seated space. As you're ready, sitting up tall, palms face up on your lap, eyes closed, heart wide open. Last big breath. Hands come to your heart, hold your intention. Listen to your inner voice. Keep calm. Namaste.